Alrighty, so game number 2 of the semifinals between the Bare Naked Laners and the Seasons Greeters. We just saw the Seasons Greeters absolutely tear apart BNL. Let's see if BNL can force a third game. All bans have been returned to normal, so Seasons Greeters did that game with only one real ban. Won pretty convincingly. Negotiable, you scrub. I'm casting. Stop messaging me. Anyway, looking at this game, the Zac instant ban by the Bare Naked Laners, considering Botox's performance on the champion. That I would definitely agree with that being a good ban. Dr. Mundo and Diana are the other two bans we see from Seasons Greeters. We didn't see either of those champions played by BNL last game, which is interesting, for sure. Oh, inflation. I don't. Sorry if you didn't know that this is a 2-3. This is indeed a 2-3. So Bare Naked Laners need to come back and take this game if they want to win it, or at least push to game number 3. Ahri banned out as well. I think that's a good decision. Kaiser's Ahri did do very well for the Seasons Greeters, but Thresh is still available, so Barcode Guardian instantly gonna lock that in. Now Scrubber Duck, are you gonna play Sona here? The chat does not recommend it. I don't think I recommend it at this point either. Oh, Energy Rush. Locking in the Quinn. Quinn with the rework has been very, very strong in the jungle, and I also know that Rush has played her quite a bit in the jungle. The Bare Naked Laners have been practicing that, so not unexpected for sure. And Scrubber Duck locking in the Shen. This could be a flex pick. This could be Shen for XX Slayers MMA, but this could also be for Scrubber Duck as support. So first pick's pretty strong for BNL, I will say. Wild Squirrel gonna lock in Tristana, so another hyper carry, but not Jinx this time. And Botox, instead of getting his Zac, he's gonna have another tanky champion that can come out of you from nowhere. Hold on. So Mr. Coolpants thinks that Lux is still a good pick, and a Nautilus pickup, which could also be a top lane Nautilus. So Shen and Not very much flex picks right now. 4-star hovering over that Nara, which performed really well. He had a really sick 2v1 outplay last game, and it seems like he's cool to go on that champion again. So the last pick to Kaiser now. He knows he's going to be up against a Lux in this mid lane. Unless that's like a support Lux, jungle, Nautilus, top lane Shen, and AD carry Quinn, in which case that would be the greatest long con of all time. Oh, we're going to see a Vel'Koz. Shoutouts to Sigmunder, aka Mid or Disco Nunu, who played Vel'Koz the last game in the semis yesterday against ooh, what was the team? I just forgot. Oh, against TSA. And it looks like Kaiser's basically paying homage to that, or homage. And let's see if they could win the same way that Sigmunder's team won yesterday. How to win 1-on-1, meanwhile, is going to be locking in the Lucian as the AD carry, so what do you guys think? The Bare Naked Laners, do they have a stronger composition at this point? Because they have a couple of similarities to their last composition. XX Slayers, MMA still on Shen, Coolpants still on Lux. Rush on a champion that wants to have a lot of early jungle presence, but as far as their adjustments to pick and ban are concerned, I feel like they have a better comp this time around. Yep, I totally agree. Bare Naked Laners bot lane this game is much, much stronger with this Nautilus pickup. Other than that, though, it's not as if these picks have been too different. Tristana instead of Jinx just means that it's going to take a little bit longer for the Jinx to ramp up, but she's going to be able to shred turrets even faster than a Jinx normally would. And it's really up to if Botox can have a performance like he did the last game, and whether or not Energy Rush can have a performance not like the last game we saw, because he was so overly aggressive for no reason, and that ended up giving a huge gold advantage to the Seasons Greeters. But anyway, guys, as we are winding down the spectator delay, I'm actually going to get some water because that last game ended up being like 80 minutes long. So I'm going to take a quick caster break, but when we return, Game 2 between the Bare Naked Laners and the Season's Greeters will be coming back as part of our UVA LCS semifinals. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'll be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second game of this best of three. Bare Naked Laners now on the red side, taking on the Season's Greeters on the blue. Oh, hold on now. Alright, I was about to change out the team, switch the team sides, but almost had some fighting going on there. Haven't seen any level 1 so far in the semis, so I really would like to see them. They are always very fun. Let's make sure this is good. I just realized this is also actually... Alright, cool. Sweet, so we are good to go. Whoa, there we go, 100 frames per second. That's what I've been trying to get to this entire time.
Minions have spawned.
Valor. That's just mean.
The teams for next year might be a little bit different next semester. Like, most of them are definitely going to stay the same. At least that's what I hope. You know, the same thing as last year. I hope that the LCS teams choose to stay together. What might happen is that... Wait a second. Why is it now on so much under? What might happen is that we have 2 more teams, so we might have 16 teams total. Maybe, that's not, that's not entirely sure yet, and the ELO differences might be adjusted a little bit as well. Because obviously one of the things about the LCS is that we're trying to make it so that the Virginia teams across the country, or not across the country, across Virginia, the 4 schools that are involved can all have equal teams in the finals that we hold in the spring between VCU, CNU, UVA, and Virginia Tech. So, shout outs to all the old dudes, graduated UVA folks in the chat. Thanks for coming, guys. Oh, XX Slayers MMA gets the level 2 early and gets a nice taunt onto Poro Star. They have the same lane as last time, but hopefully if Slayers doesn't have as many internet problems as he did before, he might do better in this top lane. Being Diamond 5, time to make a Smurf. Yes, smurfing in the LCS is totally allowed, Kappa. So let's see, Scrubber Duck and How to Win are pushing this lane very heavily, which is something we saw them do last game as well. Whether or not they can ward a little bit more successfully and not get ganked as early, as often early, is a different question. Oh, Kaiser barely misses. I should say Mr. Coolpants barely misses the light binding. I don't actually know if Kaiser was dodging it or if that just happened, but Botox is being hunted by Energy Rush here. Energy Rush gonna land the Q, gonna land the slow. That's a lot of damage. Botox forced to body slam over. And Rush playing very aggressively, but this time it's been working out. Just a little bit of trading from these 2 mid laners. Mr. Coolpants has a very significant CS advantage so far, and considering he has higher mana as well, this early lane phase going in his favor. Oh, that binding barely missing. Yeah, considering I'm currently chilling in Diamond 5, not because, I don't know, I'm not really tryharding in solo queue, but I can't tell you that it's not very fun to play. It's not a fun elo to be at. Hold on now. Rush. Oh, Rush getting caught out. So aggressive again, but this time too aggressive. Not enough caution and forced to use his flash. However, Botox flashed in after him, so that's the jungler flash on both teams traded evenly. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see this Quinn consistently. Look at this. Look how aggressive Rush is being. Botox, can he get this blue buff? No, smite or smoted away by Rush, and Botox now his So Rush's aggression still paying off, even though he doesn't have flash. Duo Q, dude. You don't want to do a Q with me. I'm like, in the preseason, I'm just trolling. I really don't care whether or not I win. Right now, I'm just playing Lee Sin for fun. And also because I want to learn Lee Sin, because Lee Sin is awesome. But we could if you want. Like, I actually don't really mind. So long as you're not try hard enough to want to get out. Alright, now the Switch chat's just going to become about tryharding and carrying me out of solo queue. I get it. Nice hyper proc there from Poro Star. I used to be Diamond 3, you scrubs. Oh my god. Anyway. Oh boy. You never play either pieces too? Yeah, like I'm legitimately like I do not care. It's preseason. I'm probably gonna try hard, like really hard for Masters and just high elo once Season 6 officially starts, because I really enjoy playing League right now, like much more. I mean, I enjoyed Season 5 to a certain. Oh, hold on, Mr. Coolpants gonna get hit by the body slam. Nope. Flashes away, but still lets the summoner down. XX Slayer's MMA actually got level 6 a little bit earlier than Poro Star. Both top laners still have their TP, and now a gank coming to the top lane. Rush looking for the gank here. Poro Star hops away. The taunt is not going to hit. The slow from the Quinn is going to hit. That's the binding as well. or blinding, I should say, blinding assault from Rush on this Quinn, but only being level 4 and the taunt not landing means Poor Star is going to get out A-okay. Yep, I agree. I do not think the Hunter's Potion is very strong, but it is something that Botox went last game as well, so maybe he knows something that we don't. And Kaiser's farming against Mr. Coolbends in this mid lane, as you can see, has not been going so well. Very significant CS advantage, pretty much worth more than a kill at this point. Yeah, you can see a 350 gold advantage only through last hitting minions. Mr. Coolpants' prowess and comfortability on Lux definitely showing so far. And through these stronger CS numbers, the Bare Naked Laners have managed to find a pretty decent little lead. Oh, another taunt missing. Let's see who makes the first move. Both junglers are about to get level 6, or at least close to that point. You know, the 7, 8, 9 minute mark is when most champions get ultimates all across the map. The Shen does have this global presence with his Stand United. And Quinn is also, once she gets ultimate, is very, very mobile. So we're likely to see the Bare Naked Laners go for some across the map plays when they hit that level 6 power spike. But for now, it looks like Barcode Guardian, Botox trying to set up a gank to the bot lane. We saw really clever Botox body slammed over the wall to try and avoid getting spotted out by the sword. So let's see, once his body slam cooldown is up, Barcode Guardian and Wild Squirrel might go for this. Maybe. Also, shoutouts to the squirrel for using the cutest skin in the game. That's just adorable. Hook onto the minion there for Barcode Guardian, and so far, no first blood over to either side. Both teams just comfortable enough to farm out and see where the enemy makes a mistake. Hadouin using the culling there. Can Barcode Guardian land a hook? It's going to be really hard because, of course, Lucian can always dash away. Flash from Barcode Guardian. He's going to use the hook as well. He lands the hook onto Hadouin. Hadouin cut out now. That's going to be the box coming down. Hadouin flashes away into ultimate onto Wild Squirrel. Now, Barcode Guardian gets hit by the dredge line and the exhaust onto Hadouin 101, but that is an unsuccessful gank. However, Summoner's burned by Hadouin 101 and Barcode Guardian. That Summoner trade was in favor of Bare Naked Laners. They used less Summoners in that situation. Botox now looking to gank Mr. Coolpants. The knock up, the body slam going to hit the ultimate from Mr. Coolpants, doing a lot of damage to Kaiser. Now the counter gank. Botox taking a lot of damage, flashing from Rush. First blood is going to go over to Energy Rush, and he gets the red buff onto Kaiser. Is he going to go for this dive? He gets hit by the slow, and Kaiser going to be able to stay alive, but a great counter gank from Energy Rush gives the first blood over to the Bare Naked Laners. So that is exactly what they wanted, much better than the last game. Comfort picks definitely are seeming much more comfortable on these champions as opposed to the picks from the last game, because Rush on Lee Sin, it was a sight to behold. That is all I'll say. Whether it was a good sight or not, you know, I'll let the viewer decide that. Caw indeed. Oh, Energy Rush gonna spot Botox out. Rush is pretty low in mana though. Botox is still level 5, so the smite is in favor of Botox if they smite war. However, Rush's smite isn't up just yet. That's a Stand United coming out just to force Botox off of this blue buff, but this is going to be a 3v3 fight. Mr. Coolpants takes a lot of damage from Kaiser, and he's going to be able to pick up the kill. Now, XX Slayers MMA cut out, and Rush is being taken down by Porostar. The flash from Slayers isn't going to be enough to get him out alive. I don't think so. That's the double kill over to Kaiser, and NRG Rush is running for his dear life. He's going to be able to use his ultimate to get out. The flash slow not going to be able to hit. The hop is not going to be able enough, and I think Rush might just get out alive here. What? Alright, so Rush, the question is, he didn't execute himself, and he's going to be able to use his ultimate again. I keep forgetting what ultimate's actually called. So only a double kill over to Kaiser. That could have been worse if Rush and his double buffs died as well. But I will say, Bare Naked Laners still do have the gold lead at this point in time. Oh, Kaiser spots out Scrubber Duck. Might get hit here. Gonna get the knock up. Gonna get hit by the dredge line. That's a lot of damage. The ultimate coming out. Kaiser, you are donezo. Shut down in favor of Mr. Cool Pants. And this is now kill score 2-2. Season's Greeters. They took game one very, very easily, but it looks like in this game, Bare Naked Laners don't want to make it that easy. They actually want to win the game themselves. 1,500 gold lead, 12 minutes into the game. Scrubber Duck and Mr. Cool Pants working on this turret, probably going to be able to take it unless Botox stops this here. I don't know if he can, though, just because Gragas is a tank champion now. He doesn't have Redonkulous Wave like he used to back when he was an AP caster. Rush looking to gank this top lane. Porostar, is he going to get hit by the taunt? He hops away already. Rush is still looking for it, though. Gets the slow, and he has the red buff again. Porostar caught out here. Doesn't have flash and goes down. NRG Rush with 2 kills now. And performing so much better on this Quinn than his Lee Sin last game. He's started to redeem himself for the Bare Naked Laners for sure. So let's see now. Season's Greeters. Oh boy. Rush is looking for Botox. And Botox was looking for Mr. Cool Pants. But now we're going to have a 2v2 in the mid lane. Botox taking a lot of damage from Rush. Teleport coming in from Porostar. But Rush has already gotten out. So that's a wasted summoner from Season's Greeters. And a hop in from Squirrel. Whoa. Well, his name is the Wildest Squirrel, and considering how wild feral squirrels can be, if he's literally the most wild out of all the squirrels, that is pretty crazy. That being said, though, Wildest Squirrel is actually pretty far behind in terms of farm, and Rush ganking Kaiser. Kaiser does not have his summoners up. He used his barrier. It's not enough, though. Needed flash to get out of that, if nothing else, but geez, Rush, he flew past a pink ward to make that gank happen. And this is why Quinn is such a strong jungler. Able to just fly around the map, gank super, super quickly. Barcode Guardian not going to be able to land the hook. Nautilus hook not going to connect either. So let's see. Yep, relativity in chat, I do think you're right. Quinn is, for good reasons, she's considered overpowered. And, you know, you guys are seeing exactly why. She's so freaking mobile. And if she gets close to you, you are just SOL. I legitimately don't know what the Quinn nerfs are for 5.24, because that's the current patch, right? I didn't even really know she had any. But, yeah, considering the mount effect that's common in Heroes of the Storm, actually on every hero, that's basically what Quinn's ultimate is now, and it's really different for a game like League of Legends, where the map is so large. Being able to cross across the map so quickly is just egregiously strong. Oh, no, you're absolutely right. I did know about those changes. I don't know if those were nerfs specifically, though. But there were changes. I mean, either way, Quinn is still super good. Bare Naked Laners now up a little under 4,000 gold. Have only taken one turret and haven't actually taken any dragons so far, but Rush looking for another kill. Barcode Guardian caught out, forced to flash away. And that's Rush. Everywhere he goes, it seems like he's making a play for his team. That's the second turret over of the game over to BNL. And a binding onto Kaiser. That's the Lucent Singularity coming out as well. The hook gonna miss. The knock up onto Cool Pants is gonna force him to flash away. How to win one-on-one is gonna cull into Barcode Guardian. Barcode Guardian doesn't have flash, remember. Puts the box down. Can the Rush get the Thresh? I don't actually think he can. Stand United was used by XX Slayers MMA just in case. Oh, flash forward to Rush. Rush taking a lot of damage, knocked against the wall, flashes away the anchor onto Botox. Botox takes a lot of damage, and the members of Bare Naked Laners are doing so much work onto the squishy members of the Season's Greeters. Botox and Barcode Guardian both dead. XX Slayer's MMA gonna teleport back to the top lane, so he did not miss anything there. And the Bare Naked Laners looking like a totally different game or totally different team in this game number 2. It's wow, they're snowballing as hard as we saw Seasons Greeters snowball against them in game number 1, and that's very impressive. Whether or not that is going to continue, and whether or not Bare Naked Laners can close this game out, might be a different question. But it's not as if their team necessarily is a weak scaling team. Quinn is still an AD carry, and AD carries, double AD carry comps scale well into the late game, especially when you have 2 tanks, just Sen and Nautilus, to support them. So let's see, Bare Naked Laners now, full control of this game number 2. Yeah, Young Money, I think you're right. Shen has done much better this game. Actually been even against this Gnar, and Gnar is a counter to Shen, so very well done by XX Slayer's MMA to farm evenly up against Poor Star and contribute to his team so far. So let's see now. Seasons Greeters, they're going to be able to clear this pink ward, or this regular ward, with their pink in the tri-brush. And it looks like they're still trying to set up some good vision. You can actually see Seasons Greeters... Oh, that's blue. And look at all this vision they have around this bot lane. So they're trying to play defensively in the face of this very fed Quinn. But speaking of Quinn, gonna run into Poor Star. Poor Star 1v1ing Energy Rush right now. Flashing forward, gets the stun, gonna be dodging the ultimate from the Lux, and now the United coming down. Rush is taken very low, but gonna be okay. And Poor Star now running away. MMA is still doing a lot of damage with that Sunfire Cape, so Poor Star needs to be careful. Kaiser now, can he land the knockup? The knockup is gonna land, the hook does not. And it looks like Bare Naked Laners, they're still pressing up against the Seasons Greeters. But look at the Seasons Greeters trinkets. Farside Totem, OP, 3 members of their team have gotten it, and the only member not to is, of course, Thresh, who's going to be going that Oracles. That is such an effective item, actually, at neutralizing, or not neutralizing, but dampening the effect of a Quinn. Because you have this long-lasting, far-range totem that can catch out and at least have momentary vision of where the enemy might be. Prevents them from getting caught out as often. But speaking of getting caught out, Box immediately played by Barcode Guardian because Rush was on his case, and Barcode Guardian did not have Flash, remember. But that's a very long ultimate cooldown down. Now Energy Rush going to be knocked back. Rush needs to be careful, doesn't have Flash either, and he's going to get shut down. That's the kill over to Kaiser, and they may be looking for more. Seasons Greeters could take this fight. They would have the numerical advantage. But still, considering how strong the rest of the Bare Naked Laners are at this point, they did not want to take that fight. But getting to punish Rush for being so aggressive is definitely very effective. That's exactly how they found a really strong lead last game, and it's something that they can still take advantage of the fact that Energy Rush is very aggressive. Oh, Hyper not proccing just yet. 4-star, is he going to dive this? Players better be careful. Looks like Slayer's gonna be just fine. Just have a decent amount of sustain considering he's got Vector's Carol as well as Doran's Shield. It looks like we'll have some more parity. Frost Queen's Claim active was used by Kaiser, who has gotten a couple of kills to his name, but still very far behind in terms of farm against Mr. Coolpants. Down 40 minions is pretty significant. Speaking of significant gold leads in terms of minions, in the bot lane as well. How to Win 101 has heavily outfarmed Wild a Squirrel, and that's part of the reason why the Bare Naked Laners have such a strong gold advantage. Well, that and the fact that they have a super fat Quinn, of course. If you take a look at the gold leads, even the mid lane for Seasons Greeters. And Kaiser, he's still behind against his lane opponent. So let's see what the Bare Naked Laners decide to do to snowball this even farther in their favor and close the game out. 21.5 minutes now. About a 5,000 gold lead, which is still very strong for BNL. But it's not as if this team composition that Seasons Greeters are running is going to be late game, is going to be weak in the late game. It's actually a very strong composition later on because Vel'Koz is very strong late game, and so is Tristana. Nice dodge there, or not dodge, but I guess it's a nice blubber from Botox. Gets hit by the E from Lux, but doesn't really mind it. We'll see. 30 seconds till Dragon spawns. It looks like both teams trying to set up around this point. The Andrus tournament has just been completed by Kaiser, so that's a very significant power spike as far as damage is concerned. Things across the map, but it looks like Rush may be going to go to this top lane. Can Slayers land the taunt? Oh, that's the slow on to Cool Pants. The flash in the knockup. The hook, and Mr. Cool Pants is dead. Star being ganked and dove by Rush, but Rush is not going to be able to pick up that kill alone, and now it looks like Seasons Greeters have the advantage. They're sieging against this mid turret. The culling is going to clear a lot of the minions. Explosive shot from Tristana does a lot of damage to the turret, and one caster is still alive, so that is going to be the turret in favor of the Greeters, and a kill from Star, turning it around. Rush too aggressive, going for the dive, but he is a Quinn. He is not tanky at all, and the Seasons Greeters are fighting their way back into this game. They're still behind in terms of gold, but they got their first turret of the game and just got a dragon buff of their own. And ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea who's going to take it at this point in time. It could go either way from this point out. I must say, as a substitute player, Star has done really good work for the Seasons Greeters. Outplaying the enemy multiple times in 2v1 situations, and yes, he has died to a gank, but he's still done very good. Rush plays like the real Rush. Yeah, well, he does play super aggressively. Without the safety capability, damn so. Yeah. Energy Rush, boys. That's so funny. I'm quoting that. He plays like the real Rush without the safety and capability. Or maybe reliability is the better word there. So 24 minutes in now. Still a 3,000 gold lead in favor of the Bare Naked Laners. Botox going to be able to land the body slam. Does have his ultimate, but I don't think he's going to use it. So here we go. Bare Naked Laners looking to pressure around this bottom side, but there's a lot of wards here for the Seasons Greeters, so I don't know what BNL is trying to accomplish. They are going to try and steal this red buff away. They do so. Dredge line from Nautilus barely missing. But still, Bare Naked Laners playing very aggressively, trying to push their advantage. It's the hook onto Scrubberduck, but Scrubberduck is really tanky. A lot of damage traded onto Barker Guardian, but Scrubberduck actually does go down to Kaiser on a killing spree. Bare Naked Laners stand united, used. Star is not going to be able to cancel. We see the team fight, two-man stun. Kaiser's taken very low, forced to barrier, forced to flash as well. The red turret goes down, but in the meantime, so does Botox. A hook and a teleport coming in. That's a shutdown for Wild and Squirrel. This team fight continues to go. Star is not Mega Gnar yet, and he gets caught out, hops away. And after all said and done, a 2-for-1 in favor of the Seasons Greeters, but their health bars are blinking red. And they are going to have to back off. But they bring the gold lead even closer now. Less than a 2K game between these two teams. I'm curious as to what the Bare Naked Laners are thinking right now. They know that they have the gold lead, but they continuously have thrown it. And at this point, considering the kills and the turrets are even, they probably don't recognize if they're incredibly far ahead of their lane opponents. I will say that Scrubberduck has completed the Aegis, which is a huge item. Doesn't have the locket just yet, but that's going to be preventing a lot of the damage that Kaiser provides, which is something they desperately need right now. They need some kind of resistance against this Vel'Koz. Because Vel'Koz doesn't have Void Staff, and sometimes Vel'Kozes don't even build that item. Having that Aegis and Locket is a very strong defense against that ability power damage. A lot of Squirrel in this bot lane now. Working on the bottom outer turret of BNL. Unanswered, so let's see if he can pick this up and get out alive. Rush is trying to close the distance. Rush gonna go for it. Wild Squirrel hasn't taken the turret down just yet, but his team is now here. Kaiser's there. Bark of Guardian's there. Botox there. Rush is now caught out. Rush and Scrubber Duck need to get out of this, but Rush is going to be taking a lot of damage, gets knocked back, and he is going to go down eventually. The rest of BNL here, though, the binding on Bark of Guardian. Wild of Squirrel has not gotten killed. Rush is still alive somehow, and Kaiser's taken very low. Exhaust coming down to Kaiser. Rush finally dies, but that's a huge amount of SG taken out. And Botox is probably not going to be able to get out of this one. Rush has died for BNL, but 3 members of the Season's Greeters have died. And Bare Naked Laners finally winning their first team fight in quite a while. Porostar now chasing Hadowin 1-on-1, but Hadowin has a decent amount of damage, lifesteal, and a team at his back, so Porostar needs to be careful. He's going to flash it for the kill. He really wants this. Hyper's going to proc. He's got Mega Gnar. Is it going to be up in time? He gets a 2-man stun into a W stun, but he gets shut down by Mr. Coolpants. And so after all is really said and done, that's a 2-for-4 trade in favor of BNL. May be able to pick up this turret too. Wild Squirrel has made it back, and Barkwood Guardian coming up as well. Remember, automatic home guards on every champion, so Kaiser's doing his best to make it back as soon as he can. And actually, Bare Naked Laner is forced to back off. The Frostbeast claim active has been used, and that's going to be able to chase down XX Slayer's MMA. Stunned by 40% for 4 seconds. Is it going to be enough to get the kill? Nope. He's just going to be able to walk away, no problem. And yeah, still very, very close game between both of these teams. Bare Naked Laner still with a slight advantage now. But Season's Greeters very capable of keeping this game in their favor. We do have a brief pause, which I actually have no idea why, but hopefully doesn't last for too long.
A summoner has disconnected.
And as always, it is the top laners DCing. This tends to be the name of the game here. Let you guys read the chat, because that's actually pretty funny.
A summoner has reconnected.
Here we go. Yeah, I don't really know why it's always the top laners, but it's pretty funny. Considering that Porostar has reconnected, hopefully we can get back into this game as soon as possible. All right. Season's Greeters have been able to fight back. That's what happened to the gold lead. Bare Naked Laners, they just found their first team fight that they won, though, in, 5 to 10 minutes. So they still have the gold advantage, but over-aggressive plays, really, from the most of them, has been the way that SG has come back so far. Botox gonna land the body slam. Hook is gonna miss, but the taunt out. Oh boy, Scrubber Duck gets caught out, and his team is not there. Both carries of BNL in the top lane. Wild Squirrel now on a killing spree, and not really sure what BNL was thinking there. The rotation now to the dragon is probably gonna be easily taken by the season's greeters. Second dragon of the game, or second dragon for either team, really not too significant as far as combat stats, but it is very effective at taking down structures. Obviously, as you get 15% amplified damage to any structure in the game, which means that Tristana gets even more dangerous at taking turrets. And considering Scrubber Duck is dead, it looks like the season's greeters are looking for 4v5. Mr. Coolpants forced to flash, but now Porostar caught out. The slow landing onto XX Slayer's MMA. Porostar doesn't have Mega Gnar available just yet, but they might still want to fight this. Oh boy, so dangerous for either side. Considering it's a 4v5 situation, Bare Naked Laners definitely don't want to fight this, but if they manage to land a proper binding into a burst damage combo, they could potentially pick up a stray kill. Locket of the Iron Solari has been completed by Scrubber Duck, and he has made it back to his team. So let's see, in a straight-up 5v5, which of these two teams has the advantage. With only a 2,000 gold difference at 30 minutes into the game, it is too close to call. Either team could win this next coming team fight, if we even see a team fight. The slight issue that the Bare Naked Laners have, though, is they have less tanks compared to Season's Greeters. Season's Greeters have Thresh, they have Gragas, and they have Gnar. They have a lot of AoE damage, they have a lot of AoE crowd control, and they also have a very beefy front line. Shen and Nautilus are two good frontlining champions, but they're not as effective as, you know, Gragas or Gnar in that situation. And if a squishy like Quinn gets caught out, oh boy, speaking of getting caught out now, Rush going on to Porostar. Porostar hasn't gotten Mega Gnar available just yet, but Porostar is able to dual Rush 1v1. Stand United coming out and Rush flashing away. Are they going to turn this around, though? That's the ultimate onto Rush. Rush taken very, very low. The Hex Trigger has been popped, but he's still out of commission. XX Slayer's MMA gets knocked up. That's the shutdown onto him for Wild Squirrel. The knockback from Botox, and the Season's Greeters have picked up 2 kills so far, looking to take down this top lane turret. Porostar is tanking it up, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get it in time. Porostar takes a huge amount of damage, but they're going to be able to secure the turret without losing a single member of their own. The gold is now tied 32 minutes in, but the Season's Greeters have finally closed the gap, and they finally have the itty-bittiest of advantages. Bare Naked Laners need to win this game if they want to push the series to a third game, but the Season's Greeters want to stop them right here and right now. You can see Wild Squirrel 4-0-4 has had a phenomenal game on this Tristana, hasn't died a single time, has gotten really, really strong. Completed Lord Dominic's regards mean that the armor built up by members of the season, or excuse me, of the Bare Naked Laners. You see the Dead Man's Plate, the Sunfire, and the Warden's Mail from both Shen and Nautilus, means that he's shredding those tanks as well, and it looks like the Bare Naked Laners had their AD carrying the bot lane, which means Season's Greeters start this Baron. Quinn is going to get there very quickly, but will this Baron be done before he even gets there in time? Lucian's not here. Gnar has teleport available, hasn't used it just yet. That Baron is still alive. Ultimate from Lux, nice Q onto Mr. Coolpants. The Baron is secured. Rush is looking for a kill here, but now this Baron in favor of Season's Greeters means they might be able to win this team fight. Wild Squirrel is taking a ton of damage from Slayers, forced to jump away, but Vel'Koz gets a huge ultimate down, but gets shut down, and still kiting backwards. Porostar is 1v4 and can't pick up a kill into Mr. Coolpants. Exhaust as well, so he does not get a kill. And a very risky Baron call. Baron secured by 2 members only of the Season's Greeters, as they lost 3 to the Bare Naked Laners. And now gold once again swinging in favor of BNL. Very close but good team fight in their favor. And now they're sieging up against this mid lane turret. I don't think that the 2 remaining members of Season's Greeters can take this. Botox gets a huge amount of damage and gets bursted down immediately. And Wild Squirrel is all alone. There's no way he can protect this inner turret. And maybe this inhibitor turret as well. Maybe. There's a huge wave pushing bot lane, and considering the Baron up minions means that it's hard to siege mid, it looks like Energy Rush is just going to go for this bot lane turret instead. And now Bare Naked Laners once again have a decently significant gold lead. The Baron call, I don't think was incorrect, especially considering Hadowin was there, but the way they fought it was. Mr. Coolpants got hooked up by by Barcode Guardian, but the rest of Season's Greeters were still trying to take Baron. They should have tried to fight instead, considering they knew the AD carry wasn't there. Yeah, it definitely was a very, very solo queue looking Baron, but considering they are using a substitute, perhaps the synergy and the communication just isn't there for the Season's Greeters. At this point in the game, though, you have to wonder, does it actually matter? 35 minutes into the game, players are getting to 3, 4, 5, 6 items. They're getting to the point where the game is going further and further into the late game. And if it's a question of scaling, I actually don't know which team outscales. Oh, Kaiser caught out. This is going to be huge for the Bare Naked laners. And Kaiser dead for 50 seconds means that BNL might try and siege this mid lane. That the danger is one binding is going to be a dead member of the Greeters if he's squishy. Oh, Botox, he gets a lot of damage. Maybe they don't need to let a squishy member to kill him. That's a huge knockback though, and he's still alive. The culling coming out. Hadowin, can he pick up the kill? No, he doesn't, but Barcode Guardian now gets caught up. And he is dead. The Cool Pants is on a rampage. Porostar trying to keep them off of the turret. Botox still very low. Kaiser hasn't respawned. He still has 20 seconds. This is definitely going to be an inhib turret. Probably the inhib as well. And BNL, they made some early mistakes. Or I should say they made some game-changing mistakes in the mid-game. But at this point, they managed to secure their lead once more. Get the inhib down. They can take the second dragon of the game, and they are still looking very, very solid to edge this game out and get a third game in this best of 3 series. We'll have to see. Botox, can he get the smite steal off? They do have vision of it. That's going to be the smite war. It's going to be given over to Rush. And the rest of Season's Greeters are chasing, but they might want to be careful because they're going to be a huge turnaround. Rush gets a huge amount of damage, but gets taken down eventually. Mr. Coolpants still live down to Rush. Somehow is still up. He's kiting Porostar, and is the Q going to be enough? No, that's a double kill over to Mr. Coolpants. 3 members of the Greeters are dead. While the Skrull was shut down, all 5 members of the Bare Naked laners are alive. They managed to win that fight without their AD carry because both Kaiser and Barcode Guardian were not there for the Season's Greeters. And you've got to wonder, is this going to be game over? Don't actually think it's going to be game over just yet. But BNL, they now have an 8,000 gold lead, which, considering 5 minutes ago, approximately 5 minutes ago, the gold literally was dead even. For them to find a huge lead like this quickly is pretty crazy. So we do see XX Slayer's MMA pushing this bot lane alone. He's got a huge wave behind him though, so I don't know if you could actually consider that alone. It looks like the rest of BNL actually coming around to help him out too. So even though he could split push with his Stand United, they rather push as a team. Rush looking for another pick. Can he get onto Botox? But the Botox is not alone here. Rush taking a ton of damage and does get shut down by the crit from Wild Squirrel. So this is now a 4v5 4 Season's Greeters. Rush is down for 60 seconds. And this is something we have seen before. Energy rushes over aggression means that BNL not going to be able to push any farther. Loosened Singularity does a decent amount of damage. Whoa! Wild Squirrel! Holy crap, Mr. Coolpants is fed. Wild Squirrel has no magic resistance. I actually don't know whether or not the aura was in range. But if Wild Squirrel ever gets caught out by a light binding from this Lux, he might just be instantly dead. We're approaching the 40-minute mark. Baron is up in less than 30 seconds, and it looks like the members of BNL are converging in that area. So the significant thing here in a 5v5 situation, Porostar needs his ultimate up if he wants to contribute to SG's team fight, because otherwise, Mininar is not really that useful in a team fight situation. So if the members of the Bare Naked Laners are able to fight while Meganar is on cooldown, that means that I think they could probably win this. Oh, too many Farsight Totems for Seasoned Screws to actually fall for that one, but nice try, Rush. They're the Naked Laners now. They have vision control. Energy Rush used his ultimate again. Look how fast he is. He might be looking for catch, but he gets caught instead. That's a huge amount of damage. Rush is going to go down. Kaiser getting a huge amount of damage without being taken down just yet. A double kill so far, and SG is turning this game around. XX Slayers MMA goes down. That's a triple kill for Kaiser. Lucian is still alive. Flash and heal away. And the Season's Greeters get a clean 3-for-0 fight. They're looking for this Baron. Many of their members are very low, and Mr. Coolpants is still at full HP, so I don't actually know if they can go for a Baron here. But again, Rush is playing so aggressively, not respecting the fact that if he gets caught out, he instantly goes down. Season's Greeters are still far behind, but the game is getting further into the late game where the gold lead actually doesn't matter as much anymore. Oh boy. Rush is Diamond 1. Or Diamond 2. He's very aggressive is how he's, he's not a bad player at all. The issue is that he can also be very, very cocky, and he's also very emotionally driven. Considering two members of BNL are still down. Botox actually might get caught out here. Oh, if Botox dies, they're not going to be able to secure this Baron. Whoa, who's going to get this Baron? If the Bare Naked Laners steal it. Okay. Alright. I almost got too hyped there. Botox did go down, though. Energy Rush still looking for a chase. Oh, that was a pretty big knockup.
A summoner has disconnected.
Unfortunate disconnect there. I'm glad that this game has definitely been going better than the last game, though, because last game was just such a stomp.
A summoner has reconnected.
Alright, so back into the game. 42 minutes have been played so far. Let's see how many minutes are remaining. 4 members of the Season's Greeters have the Baron buff now, so their siege is going to be very strong if they decide to go for it. Energy Rush stealing out the Season's Greeters red buff once again. But he's gone complete damage, so he needs to play like an AD carry. He cannot play like a tank. The 5th dragon of the game has just respawned, and let's see who goes for it. This would be the Dragon's Flight, 5% movement speed in, for either team that secures it. Botox just respawned. Oh, this is going to be close. Mr. Coolpants gets slowed out. Takes a lot of damage. Mr. Coolpants forces Jonius. Does have heal. Does not have flash. Heals away. Stand United coming down. Does he go down? He's still alive. Stand United was able to protect him. Now Porostar cut out. The Lantern coming in. Energy Rush gets the catch on the Kaiser. Kaiser forces Jonius down. Botox just arrived to the fight. Kaiser is still going to be able to make it out. The flash from Slayers MMA not able to secure the kill. And that's 1 kill over 2. Season's Greeters, a double kill for Kaiser. How in the world are these AP mid laners staying alive with such low HP bars? Oh my goodness. Dragon is up, but I think both teams have pretty much forgotten. Looks like Mr. Coolpants hasn't, and it looks like Bare Naked Laners actually lost the team fight there, but are going to be able to secure this. That's a pretty significant objective, and kind of a throw by SG not to be aware of that fact. Still. Poor Star just DC'd once again, so hopefully we'll get him in ASAP. Guess that just gives us a little bit of a time to... I think it was literally 2 minutes ago when the last pause was. Just gives us some time to calm down, collect our thoughts.
A summoner has reconnected.
Yeah, there have been throws on each side, but to a certain extent, that is League of Legends. It's not as if professional level games are, you know... And these guys are nowhere near the professional level. So to see throws like this back and forth, at the very least, it's pretty entertaining, I will say. The poor Star having reconnected. But again, the condition of victory for Seasons Raiders, unless they manage to get a pick like they did onto Mr. Coolpants in that last team fight, Poor Star probably wants to be a Mega Gnar for them to effectively team fight against BNL. Still, the Baroned Up minions means they're going to be able to take this turret down very low. Rush is not alive yet, neither is Shen. So this is a turret down, inhib going down as well. And we'll see whether or not Seasons Graders decide to stay. Rush has respawned. Where is he going? He might be going for the most craziest flank. Whoa, is he gonna... He's so fast, first of all. 700 movement speed, are you joking? Is he gonna try and seal this inhibitor away? Okay, jeez. I thought he was just gonna go for inhib. That would have been crazy. All 5 members of the Seasons Greeters now grouped up, pushing down this wave. Baron and Dragon both dead for a couple of minutes at least, so I feel like Seasons Greeters sieging down this mid lane probably wouldn't accomplish very much unless they managed to start a fight. Okay. Land a slow, that's a knockup onto Slayer. Is the Slayer's gonna get caught out? No. Manages to taunt out. Mr. Coolpants, though, gets knocked back, but he's still alive. That is the Gragas barrel down. Mini Gnar up now. Mega Gnar down as well. So, Seasons Greeters with their ultimate down, forced to play a little bit defensively and move back. I'm very impressed by the fact that the Seasons Greeters have played so much as a unit now, though, and have not been splitting up and getting caught out by Rush on this Quinn. At this point, the game is just a giant vision control fest. If either team is able to make a pick, the death timers are so long that, you know, a pick might actually result into game over, or at least something strong like a Baron. Energy Rush. He's flying through the enemy jungle, but the thing is, he's just so fast that even a spooky ghost's not going to be able to catch up in time. I'm not really sure. Poor Star. He's got a huge ball wave, and it looks like he's actually going to be split pushing while the rest of the Seasons Greeters try and accomplish something. So that could work. A 4-man split push, or 4-in-1 split push bottom with the Gnar, and then have your other 4 members go top lane, would be pretty effective for the Seasons Greeters at this point. Unless the Gnar instantly gets caught out by the Quinn and dies, which might be the case here. Oh boy, here comes Rush. Rush gonna be able to get a lot of damage now. Poor Star trying to kite back the Yomu's Ghostblade pop from Rush. He gets another slow. That's a huge amount of damage. The flash from Rush as well. Poor Star needs to flash out, but he doesn't have it. Mr. Coolpants is legendary, and is that going to be it? There's a 70-second death timer. Poor Star is not going to be up for a very, very long time. So the Bare Naked Laners now grouped as 5. They have a super wave pushing against their mid wave, but they're trying to equalize with the enemy inhib as well. I think Seasons Greeters are just going to give this up. There's really no way they can win a 4v5 fight in this situation. That's just too risky. Cast coming down, but it's just really to scare BNL off. Whoa, Scrubberduck just flashed forward, but did he really want to? He gets knocked up. Scrubberduck might go down here if this is really, really bad. Alright, he's going to be able to make it out. I don't know what the hell that was about. Baron up in 8 seconds. The members of Bare Naked Laners have actually moved away from the Baron, considering the fact that Scrubberduck was so low. Teleport used by Shen in the bottom lane. He does have a stand united at this point, and we're at the level 18 point. Oh, every time Rush looks like he's going in, but it's just, he's so fast that he can afford not to. Man, playing Quintus would be so much fun, though. That rank 3 ultimate speed is just bonkers.
Red team's inhibitors respawning soon.
So Pornstar has respawned. I don't know if he's gonna let himself get caught out again like he did just a few moments ago. Dragon number 6 total. 3rd dragon for Seasons Greeters and 4th dragon for Bare Naked Laners, if they were to get it, is up in 15 seconds. You can see, just look at the vision. Huge amount of vision on this Baron side of the map, because both teams know. Oh, hold on. Both body slamming forward, but not actually going to find anything there. It looks like Tristana's recalling has completed that Bloodthirster. Or no, actually going for Mercurials. Interesting. So foregoing large amount of lifesteal just for more defensive stats. Rush has started this Baron. Considering Tristana isn't there, this Baron's going to go down very, very quickly. Oh boy. Seasons Greeters are trying to close the gap as fast as they can. Mega Gnar is not available. It's up very soon, though. Let's see who's going to get the Baron. The fight's going to break out. 4-star going to go in. XX Slayers. MMA takes a little bit of damage. It's a decent knock, but is it enough? Rush is taking a lot of damage from the members of Seasons Greeters. Rush is cut out. That's a huge Lux ultimate from Mr. Coolbounce, however. And how to win what on a killing spree. Killing spree indeed. Seasons Greeters are losing members left and right. Squirrel gets taunted out, and no one has died for BNL just yet. The Bare Naked Laners, ladies and gentlemen, might be pushing us to a 3rd game. Kaiser flashes away. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. He goes down to how to win, and I think that's gonna be it. 51 minutes into the game, BNL will take down the Seasons Greeters, and it looks like we are going to a game number 3. Goodbye, Wild Squirrel. And that's going to be it. One more game to go to decide who faces off against Ed Sheeran's Fan Club version 2 in the UVa LCS Fall 2015 Finals. Bare Naked Laners made a couple of mistakes.